All right, it's Thursday again, and we are at 9 p.m. Indian Standard Time. And welcome me on joining today's BIMly, which is our weekly BIM Q&A. I'm doing this call on every week where I get to answer some of your BIM or industry-related question, as well as have a fruitful discussion about BIM and related topics. So thank you again for everybody who's jumping on this call. I see we have 8 people and still people are jumping on the call. I see a couple familiar faces on the call as well. I have a good old friend Webho joining us as well, and a couple other people jumping in. Hardik is as well from my own company. Our client is there. So again, this initiation is under Beyond BIM, which is powered by our client. And the whole idea is building a BIM community where we get to share each other's knowledge as well as help other people within the industry to learn about BIM, to educate what is BIM, and spread more awareness about this topic so that the adoption of BIM becomes more at the large scale and we become the front runner of a project rather than just becoming a support system or support team. So let's join on today's call. The format is pretty simple. You guys just raise your hand and I get to invite you on the stage where you can unmute yourself and have your question so that we can discuss and have an answer for that. If not, if you want to discuss on any topic, you guys can also do that. Just raise your hand and I would love to join you on the stage and have a discussion about whatever topic you have. I do have a couple questions already listed because people were sending me questions on DMs. I've noticed that a lot of people are hesitant on speaking on the call on live, so they keep messaging me their questions, which is fine. I can answer those questions now as well. And you can find all this information on my brand new YouTube channel that I've started, again under Beyond BIM, which will be serving as part of this community as well. So we'll be uploading a lot more content. And if anybody wants to get associated or join this mission, feel free to reach out. I would love to have a bigger group and have a bigger discussion about us all together, trying to understand what BIM is and where we're going. So if you guys are still thinking on the question, I'll start with my own question that was sent to me on DM. The first question I got is that somebody saying that I chose my career in BIM and I want to ask about career development. What specific project or experience helped you develop your skills the most? Okay, so this is again a very important topic about career development. A lot of the time we don't think about career development. Usually we get into a job and one or the other things keep on rolling up and we just progress in our career. But we never make a roadmap of where we want to go and what we want to achieve. So the first step I would suggest before we even go into the discussion about experience or what type of project, what not, first everybody who is starting a career, whether it's in BIM or in any other areas, you should have a roadmap of your own career path. Like where do you see yourself in next 5 years? I know this question get asked in a lot of the PR call you guys do in your company, but the reason they asked this question was for your own help, for your own career development. So if nobody's asking, you should take a pen and a paper and write down where do you want to see yourself in next 5 years. Write down that role that you want to be in, right? Whether it would be a BIM manager or any type of position in your company you feel inspired and want to be, write it down that you want to achieve that. So this is where I think your career goal path setting start is by writing your long-term plan. Now talking about my experience, like which project or how I gained a lot of experience within this industry, one project that comes in my mind is, which was the pivot point in my career when I was working at Baker, was all about Florida. So this is a project that started in 2015 and I think it got finished close to 2017 or 18. It took 3 years. This was a large project. We were building, we were building a metro station in downtown Miami, which was a very challenging project to work in because logistics was very tough. You have roads working in, you have a lot of movement happening, and we have to set a platform which is 80 feet above in the air. So you can understand the complexity of this job. And why I'm saying this was the pivotal point is because I happened to tag team with one of the party chief, the layout team on this project. So within Baker, I was trying to preach people that use BIM, adopt BIM, it would be useful. But then this was the moment that defined that what my target audience was and who should I be pitching what BIM should be. And it came out that the layout team was the closest one that understood me. They understood what concept BIM was presenting, because in reality, the layout team was actually doing the same thing, but they were doing it all in their mind. They were creating the 3D, they were drawing their drafting, their points all in their mind. So when I provided them with this tool, which was like showing them everything that's supposed to happen on a job site, they really love it, and Yuri Cabrera was the party chief on this job. So shout out to Yuri. And he's the one who actually started adopting it. He started learning Revit. He started getting more in detail with me on how we can utilize this technology. And that gave me more exposure on the field as well. I used to go on job site more often. I actually spent like 2 to 3 months on the job site office. So I would recommend that as well. Like if you guys can get opportunity to be on a job site office as a BIM guy, you should definitely pursue that. You should go for spending more time on the job site. That can help you gain more and more knowledge. So I think this was like a shorter answer that I would suggest that if anybody is trying to do a career path or career development, these are the couple tips that you can follow along. So I did saw that somebody raised the hand, and I think they were kind of left out on the call. So feel free, guys, feel free to raise your hand. Again, this discussion is more about us having an interaction rather than I'm just going on a call and talking to myself. So I want to have a good discussion between all of us. So if you guys have a suggestion as well or an additional comment of what I just said, feel free to raise your hand, and I would love to invite you on the stage and we can talk more on it. So while we wait for other guys to kind of think and get their question, I have another question. Like I said, these questions keep coming me on the DMs rather than people speaking out here. So another question was about pursuing a master degree in US, and should one consider it still? Like the question was that, is it still valid or is it not valid, but is it still worth to pursue a master degree in US? Again, I think Vaibhav is on the call as well, who would be great to answer this question. So Vaibhav, feel free to raise hand. I would jump you on the stage because I feel people would be interested to learn from your side because you're recently graduated and pursuing your career. So let me allow you to speak, Vaibhav, and then I'll share my knowledge. Vaibhav, how are you, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. Good to see you on this call, brother.
Yeah, I'm really happy to be on this call. For those of you who don't know, Ani was my first manager here in the US, and I got to learn a lot of stuff working with him, working for Baker as an intern, and that I would say that was my pivot point for sure. Since you were talking about defining a roadmap for our career. For sure, I think doing an internship in Baker was a crucial point for me in my career. So, to answer your question, I would say yes, definitely. Pursuing a master's here in the US is still worth it because it's not just about the exposure that you get in terms of education, but also the exposure that you get working here. In your particular field, and it's not just about construction, but any master's degree that you want to pursue, I would say that is 100% worth it because in terms of experience, it's very different than what you would get in India. And I would say that really shapes you as a professional going ahead, in your career. And irrespective of whether you want to stay here in the US or go back to India, this experience that you would be getting working on projects here in the US will define your future for sure. So yes, in short, yes, I would definitely ask you recommend you to pursue your master's here.
That's a great answer, Vaibhav. I think a lot of people wanted to hear this, because many of them, after coming out of college from India or elsewhere in the world, they want to pursue the higher education because it does provide them more greater opportunity. And you're completely right that yes, it's still worth to pursuing masters in US. However, I think there are some points that people should also know and understand that being in US, it's not always going to be that fancy and what you see in the movies and terms, right? It's going to be a hard roadmap, right? You have to really put your efforts in and really work really hard, because you have to leave your comfort zone. I think when you're at your home, you definitely get trained to be more comfortable. Your parents are there supporting you, but in an unknown land, you are by your own self, right? You have to make sure that you are working out, you are doing extra job when you're pursuing your masters. Then only the survival becomes much more easier, right? So
Yes, I didn't want to scare everyone here by saying these things, but when I said when you pursue your masters, you you're transformed into a different person. And this is what I meant because it's not something, you don't have any support system here. You don't have any, anyone that would, as you are in India or someone who's in India, you have your family, you have your friends. So it's a different thing in India, but in US, when you complete like 4 or 5 years here, you're transformed into a different person. Then no matter what, how difficult the situation you face in your career or in your, even in your personal life, later on in your stage or in your life, you are kind of prepared for it. You have gone through stuff. So the mentality is changed completely when you
and I
stay here
think
for some time.
Vaibhav, also to mention this point as well in terms of financial as well, I feel like a lot of people have to look into that. So I'm not like suggesting that you should not think if you don't have money. Obviously, banks are there to provide you with loans, right? And then you can get a high paid job in US that you can pay those loan off quickly. But again, you have to look at different situations, I feel, because a lot of the time people think that, okay, the master's degree would be worth of this, but it's not just your degree, but your cost of living as well. When you move to US, you have to calculate your cost of living as well as the amount of time you would be spending in US, because you have to look into the return on investment. For example, if you did a master's and you spent 40 lakhs on that, talking in terms of Indian rupees, if you spend 40 lakh, you want to make sure you stay at least that duration of the time so that you can gain experience as well as pay that loan back quickly, right? Then it was worth on getting there. Otherwise, if you go there and do your master's and think of coming back, I don't think it's worth it. You have to at least stay 5 or 10 years, right?
Yes. So that's a different story altogether when you're applying for your universities. Try to apply and get into universities that provide you scholarships so that you can minimize your expenses here. And eventually when you get a job, you can, save more, you can plan your finances and stuff. So, I mean, even after coming here, it's not just about career, but you learn a lot of things about your finances, and you get a whole different perspective of the world.
Yeah, definitely.
So, it's definitely worth it, and I like to say that if it's not scaring you enough, it's not worth doing. So if coming to the US is kind of a little scary for you, it's definitely worth it because it will definitely transform you into a different person.
And while we're talking about this, Vaibhav, I think we should also discuss about people does get scared about the visa norms that's happened, right? You won't get a green card. It takes forever to do the green card. H1B always. So obviously there are some of these pros and cons of living there as well, right? But when I look at it in a way that you're not going there to stay forever. Let's think in that way. When you're moving to US, think about that you're going to a place to gain experience, right? At the same time, earn money, and then think of coming back to your country, right? This is what my plan was. That okay, I would spend 5 to 10 years in US. Gain a lot of experience which will help me in my own career, and then I would come back to my home. Again, if things falls in place, and if you want to stay and make your home as US, which is totally fine. But a lot of people get scared about that, oh, what happened, I won't get a green card. I mean, you won't need a green card if you're thinking of coming back anyways,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah. So I would say like you can't plan a long term in terms of staying or even for your career in US, because there are so many variables here. There are lots of things dependent on like one thing leads to other, and then you can't really plan a lot of stuff in terms of how long you have to stay and stuff. So I would recommend setting short-term goals uh,
Yeah.
for yourself, and not worrying too much about getting your H1B or
Yeah.
getting your I-140 and stuff. Those things happen eventually. I feel that everything happens for a reason, and
Yeah.
then if you're not getting an H1B, you have God has a better plan for you. But
Exactly.
even if you're going back to India after 3 years, the experience that you gain
Yeah.
here would put you ahead of a lot of people in India with the same number of years in experience.
Yeah.
So you're already much ahead of those people
Definitely.
in terms of the experience that you got, the exposure that you got. So it is not going to go waste at all.
Yeah, definitely. No, that's totally right. Okay, so we have Mudra raising her hand. So let me invite her on the stage. Mudra, if you want to unmute yourself, and would love to have you speak.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hello, sir. I'm following the since long, and I'm happy to meet you
Same here.
on the audio call.
Likewise. Likewise.
Actually, as I'm a BIM engineer right now,
Okay.
working in consultancy,
Okay.
Sistra.
Okay.
Okay, and I have done my BIM course from BIM Labs, which is located in Thiruvananthapuram, Kerala.
Okay.
Okay, I heard about that master's course in USA, but I had done my master's course in BIM in India, and that's a I think it's a certificate they have given us.
Okay.
But is that valid in India or somewhere that we can say that we have done masters in BIM?
Okay. So exactly, I'm not sure which institute it is. You might DM me so I can have a look into it. But I feel like masters is going to be totally different than having a certification course, right? So when we talk about master degree, that means you're actually going for a 2 year or 3 year program, and then you're getting a full-fledged degree, right? So you are a postgraduate now. While a certification is more like a crash course that yes, some institute would give you a certification, but that would be considered as a certification you did in BIM. Both of them have their own equal values, right? So I'm not saying one or the other is wrong. Depends on what you want to do in your career with them. Make more sense, right? So this is more like a master degree you did, or is it a certification you did?
I think it was a certification because there is no university or college
Okay.
which is having that master's
Gotcha.
in BIM.
Gotcha. Yeah, so
That's why.
it's more like a certification course, which is again, it's totally fine until and unless you got something out of it. So the whole point of doing a certification course is not to get a certificate and apply for a job. A lot of time people have this misconception that, oh, let me have this certification and I will have a good job. But nowadays, trust me that the companies are doing way rigorous interviews, technical rounds, because they want to select what is real out there and not just a certification that you applied for. I am talking about my experience with my own company. So when people are applying for job in our client, we don't just see their certification. That is the last thing we see. We see what their knowledge is. We test them on based of their knowledge. So yes, if you went to a certification course and gained some knowledge, that certification course was worth it, and then you have that certification, which is fine. But if you didn't gain anything and you just have that piece of paper, it's worth nothing. Same thing with degree as well, right? Even a master degree is the same way, that it's more about gaining more knowledge, right?
Yes. Yes, sir.
So hope I
Uh,
answered your question on this one.
Okay, and I have another question
Yes,
too.
please go ahead.
Uh, that's yes, I have done my master's. I mean that course, certification course, and that, and we have learned I think 16 around softwares. So that was a lot more knowledge we gathered at the time. So I think that in the beam industry there must be some uh, fixed softwares which are using very widely and I mean commonly. So at one time we can't learn 16 softwares
Yeah.
at a time.
Yeah.
So what should we pay attention on particular softwares? We can give
Sure.
time to them.
Sure,
If
definitely.
I want suggestions.
No, I think I got your question. This question was asked even last time as well, and I think a lot of people does ask me even on the message as well, that which software we should learn to grow ourselves in our career. And even same thing I
Yes.
would repeat myself from the last call as well, that software is not as important versus what you're doing with that. What solution you're providing with that. So software, yes, you can learn 16 different software, right, and be really good at it, but it's very hard to have all the softwares and master all of them. Rather than, you should focus on what you will be doing with that software. For example, let's take Revit, right? So Revit is widely used because Autodesk and Revit has become like one of the industry's well-known software as well as standard, right? That a lot of companies uses Revit. So I would focus on at least being master at one program. So let's say Revit. So let's be a master of that one program, right? You should know all in and out of that program and what you can do out of it, right? How can you use that program in order to do certain different things. But again, the end result or the end goal should be focused on what solution you will be bringing out of that software. You can learn Synchro. The solution would be you would create a 4D that would help people visualize their schedule. You can learn Naviswork. The solution would be you will be doing good coordination, a clash-free model, right? So let's focus on the solution first, what solution you will be providing, and reverse engineering your software choice of your software should be, right? Your software choice should not decide what you will be doing with your career. Rather than, you should first focus on, okay, this is what I want to do, and then there are plenty of softwares, right? And another point, like I said last time, I would want to repeat, is also start trying to learn a little bit of the AI tools that are available out in the industry. And we recently actually did a post today itself. You can go and check out on our client page about all the AI softwares, not all, but some of the major AI software that are being used in AEC industry. So you guys can check out that link. It has good information about all these tools, and you can just go and start testing out where these AI tools can help you. Because trust me, the next 10 years will be a big revolution into AI, and all these software will see a sudden shift and the change in it. So if you know a little bit the background of how and what things are moving, I think that will give you a good certain edge on it. So I hope, Mudra, I answered your question on this.
Yes, sir.
Thank you
Thank you
again
so much
for asking
for
the question. Like you've been brave enough to jump and come on the stage. I know we have other people listening on the call as well, but thank you again. I will move you down onto the listening mode. Perfect. Is there any other question from the team? I know we have 19 people listening on the call. Okay, so let's see. We have another question coming in. Let me allow you to speak. If you can quickly introduce yourself, that would be great.
Yeah, thank you, sir. I've been following you for a while ago. I'm not a big time follower of you, but I have a question, sir. I'm
Yes.
a beam engineer working in a Mansicom, a company based in Noida, and I'm looking ahead to get a job in USA. So, what should I do, and how should I approach to getting in USA as a beam engineer? And parallelly, can I pursue my career in a master's, and which course will be better for considering a beam career? So
Okay.
that's my question.
Okay. Thank you again for asking this question. Sai, right? I can call you Sai.
Yeah,
Sai. Okay.
yeah.
Perfect, Sai. So you want to do a job, like you want to move to US and do a job? Is that right?
Uh, Um, Depending upon the situation, actually, my intent is very clear that for the few years I'm in this job career, and after that I have to start my business.
Okay.
And in engineering sector, kind of related in beam industry.
Okay, got it, got it.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. So let me answer your question in that way. So, getting a job in US first of all, right? So let's think about that. If you want to go to US and do a job, applying a job from here, I feel is very hard, and getting selected, especially in BIM and construction industry, is very hard. It's different for IT, right? Like TCS, other IT company does send people overseas and then have them do their job over there, but they also call them back. But in BIM and in construction industry, I haven't seen a lot of company that does that. You know, there won't be a company that would be sending you to US to do a certain job for a period. There might be some, but very few of them. So in order to do a job in US, you definitely have to go through the route of pursuing a master degree first there and then apply for a job. That's the easiest and the safest route to apply for a job and get a job in US, right? So that's the first way to do that. And then you're also asking about pursuing a master degree, right? So definitely you can pursue a master degree. There is no harm in that. While working on your job, you can definitely pursue a master. I think there are a lot of university that give you an online course, and especially in BIM, this is a type of field that is mostly online. You know, like you're doing everything on cloud, you're doing everything on your computer, so you can definitely apply for a master degree. I think there are great programs available even in India as well that can help you and do a master degree, but you have to definitely do hard work while doing a job and a master's, because you have to manage both of them, right? You have your 8-hour jobs or 6-hour job, and then you have to have your master degree. So it's going to be a tough ride, but it's not impossible. You can definitely do that. And I'm very happy that Sai, you are very clear with your intent that long term you want to do your business, right? This is your intent that you want to go this route, which is very commendable. You know, I think this is great, but I would recommend you to first gain a lot of experience. You know, be in a company and start learning about its ways and its business, and then also look into that, is it worth getting into this business, or which industry where it's moving. I'm sure like in like next 5 or 10 years, there would be a huge revolution coming in, and then businesses would have to adopt and shape differently. But having this clear intent is very important, and you have that, Sai. So thank you again for this question, Sai.
Yes, sir. Actually, I have one another question.
Yes,
Actually, I'm
please.
learning a language Python and C Sharp as well,
Okay.
and have been also training, providing my fellow professionals training in beam industry who are just passed out from their colleges.
Okay.
I'm actually already doing that kind of the things. So I think these things are now helping me, and I have a very clear vision that I have to spend my 5 years of career in a beam industry, and then
Yeah.
later on I will move in a business sector.
Okay.
That's my plan.
Perfect.
If anything you want to add to me, then it will be very much
Yeah,
beneficial.
yeah. No, no, this is great. You're already way ahead, and you're taking the steps that are required for the next future 5 year or 10 years in BIM, which is learning these languages. You know, learning computer programming, which is one of the things that I am trying to get myself into, but it's really hard because I don't have a language background. But I still want to get into it because the trend which are moving towards that only, where now all these softwares are getting open to APIs where you can customize it to a level that you can tweak the software on how you want to make them work. You know, so if you're learning this language, I think you're already way ahead of the curve. I would recommend most of the BIM engineers or the BIM modelers that are listening here is to definitely start learning some of these language. And if not language, like I said in the last question, start learning these tools that will help you to gain that age in this industry. You know, like AI tools or Dynamo or anything that are related to that is definitely required. So Sai, again, thank you so much for this
Yes,
question.
I want to add one thing.
Yes,
One
please.
guy is whose name is Eric. Yeah, he is providing completely free training for Revit API based on a Python language.
Oh, nice.
Actually, I've learned most of the things in Revit API using Python languages from him.
Oh, wow.
Actually, he is providing base level of the training, and he is uploading all his videos on YouTube
YouTube.
channel.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
it is very much beneficial for me.
If you
And
don't
most of the
mind,
things.
if you don't mind, Sai, share his videos or his YouTube channel to me. I would love to post it on this so that all the listener on this call would be able to listen to him. I think this is important that
Def-
we have this resource.
yeah, definitely, sir. I'll be sharing with you.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. Thank you again, Sai. And again, for everybody, it's 9:30. It's our 30-minute call that I said. And Pingal, sorry again, brother, we have the time crunch today, but I would love you to send your question, DM your question to me, and then I'll answer that in next call. And please join me on the next call. Again, thank you everyone for joining this. I hope this was helpful or had a little bit value in it. I would upload these on my YouTube channel as well as we'll be doing some BIMly bites out of it. So stay tuned. Follow me on LinkedIn as well as on YouTube, and I'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much, guys.